Hello and welcome everyone back to the League of Your 4 Division number 4 for the 11th round of the championship, coming to you from Spa, one of the most historic tracks on this 17 race calendar. It's going to be an interesting race here at Division 4 and possibly a weather affected race as well. But in the commentary booth to take you through this 11th round of the championship is going to be myself, QVR Packer, and alongside me once again is going to be Ariel Nolan. How's it going, Jack?
It's going pretty well. How's it going with you? Not with this track at least, anyway. But
it's going interesting, I must say. Belgium, not one of my favorite tracks. I'm sure most people, especially in the higher divisions, don't enjoy it too much. But let's see what Division 4 can bring us here from this historic circuit.
well, if it's anything like the previous races with this group of drivers, I think we're guaranteed an interesting race at least, and hopefully another fight between the people at the top.
Yeah, we did see a little bit of that last time out in Portugal. Ryan B and Alt Maverick were pretty close out on track for a little bit of the race at least. But Ryan B was able to take home a second place last time out after a post-race pen for Alt Maverick after an incident with Ariel Jordan, coincidentally Ryan B's teammate. But yeah, just looking at the championship standings right now, Ryan B leads by 8 points on 148 after taking 2 second places in a row, Hungary and Portugal. Alt Maverick is on 140 in second place, and then Cam K on 106. So 2-horse race, but Cam K started to bring things back after Hungary, but then a disappointing race in Portugal. Major Falcon is in fourth on 92. MCR is on fifth, tied with Mr. Water, both on 65 for fifth and sixth there. Storm in the second. Aston Martin is on 49 points in seventh. McDutchface is on 44, tied with Ariel Jordan for eighth, both on 44 points. Energetics and Marty, as well as Connor or Sumcon, are on 35, so 3 drivers tied for 10th there. And then Poldypol is on 31, United Bosnia on 21 after a third place last time out. Slayer is on 19 points. In 15th, Iverburn Mike 3 points behind him on 16. Ben Gallagher on 15 points. In 17th, Eduk on 11, and then Noah J on 6, and Bagabones are our last points scorer on 3. So, championship starting to shape up a little bit. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, we have Ryan B and Alt Maverick up at the top. 8 points separate them. But Cam K, if he can put together a few decent races in a row here, could really put himself in contention for the last 2-3 races.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and also we've seen him start to pick up form. Obviously, we don't know what he did last week. The weird decision to not qualify, but 7 races left. There's a lot of points up for grabs. I think we could say the same for Major Falcon. I think 5th down, probably out of it at this point, you could say, bar a miracle. But Major Falcon, 92 points, a few good results which he started to pick up. I think he could find his way back in. I think the biggest talking point at the moment, obviously now, is news, as you'll know as well. Alt Maverick joining QBR. That could help having some people around him, because he has made a few strategic decisions that have been a bit questionable, which you think if he had someone helping him out a little bit, he could just turn a few of those points a little bit higher. I think having the right people around him could actually help him push forward to going on a proper title fight and closing down that 8-point gap after this race.
Yeah, definitely. Joining a team can it can be a blessing, but it also can be a little bit of a curse to some people. But yeah, hopefully he can find his way in this. Well, this is going to be his second race in the team. Portugal, well, he wasn't announced until after Portugal, but he was in it for a day or two. But yeah, hopefully he can start to find a little bit more form. A few disappointing results. Had a decent race in Portugal, but as I mentioned, that post-race pen really knocked him down the order. Because I think he finished, I want to say second on track, or third after a 3-second pen. So, yeah, if he can put together a few more decent results and try and stay closer to Ryan B, this championship could get pretty interesting once we get into the business end of the season, if you want to say that. But it looks like Mr. Wilder is going to be the first driver out on track and first driver to hopefully do a hot lap.
Yeah, and as we speak about the track, Belgium, I've seen a common theme that it's not many people's favourite track on this game. It does seem to be a track for a specialist, and certain people seem to be really good at it. I've seen some Division 3 and 4 times that are outrageous. I'm struggling to even get into the 41s at all, so it's going to be really interesting to see. I think we'll see a lot more people do better. I think we saw this a few games ago as well. Last game it happened with me. I was nowhere, and in Belgium I had a good performance. You see people pulled out the bag at Belgium, where they've been nowhere for the rest of the season. So I have a prediction that we'll have a very unnormal grid at the end of this race compared to how the rest of the season's gone.
Yeah, it'll be Belgium is one of those. It's typically known as a wheel track, and it is especially well, more blatant, I would say, in this game. A wheel track, but yeah, Mr. Wilder just heading into the first corner, second gear at the apex of La Source, and now has this downhill run up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Turns 2 once you get to the bottom of the hill, and then up 3 and 4 here at Radion, and now onto the Kemmel Straight. A little bit of a kink here as he opens up DRS for the Aston Martin. I would imagine aiming for 30.4.5. Maybe through this first sector. 30.1 actually. He must be running quite low wings, I would imagine, if he's doing a 0.1. I don't even think I can do a 0.1. But as he heads through Lake Com, through turn 5 and through turn 6, and then Malmedy, and then into Rivage for turn 8. Very difficult corner to get right, and then have to hook it up on the traction. A little bit of exit curve. That's not exactly where you want to be putting your car. And then through No Name at turn 9. We have an off. I think that's Alt Maverick. Cutting Lake Com there, so a mistake from the championship runner-up as of right now. Now Mr. Woucher through Pouan for the first time and into turn 12. This 12-13 chicane can be very difficult depending on how you run your racing line. And now into Stavlo for turn 14 and through the middle sector split as well. 14-3, a little bit off of where you really want to be. And now through Curb Paul Frey at turn 15 and onto this back not so straight as they head up to the end of the lap through turn 16 and now through turn 17 Blanchimont. As you try and keep the straightest line possible, head up to the bus stop chicane for the final 2 corners. For turn 18, braking here. I want to get a little bit of an early apex, try and bring it over to the right, hit the apex on the left, and get the best traction possible as you head to, it's a shorter run to the start-finish line, but it's a 42.7 to kick it off for Mr. Wilder, and I don't think that's actually going to be too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all, actually, for a start. I mean, I won't lie to you. I did a practice session earlier. The best I managed all session was a 42.6. So if that's his banker, I think I'm a Division 4 or 5 driver for this week. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of variation between divisions. There are a lot of drivers, as I think, as someone mentioned in Discord. I think Ariel, Forza Brendan was on I want to say a 41.7, and that's my PB. And I'm in Division 2. And
Funky Chicken got a 4. So I was in a session earlier on. We'll talk you through whilst people finishing the first laps. I joined a practice session with the Relentless lads before this. Bear in mind, I was the second highest driver if you look at divisions in that lobby. There was Nathan and me. I had Brendan getting a 0.7. We had Pate. I think he were faster than me. He was like a 42.3. We had Funky Chicken getting a 41.9. And then I was sat there on a 42.6. So it really is just like a shape shift of drivers at the moment, and I think we're going to see. I genuinely think we could see some D3, D4 times qualifying better than D2 at the moment. Maybe even D1. I've seen some people struggling in D1.
Yeah, I know Dylan was struggling a little bit, but I think he's hopefully found a little bit of pace. Major Falcon goes on the front row, 42.9. I know Rocco has been struggling for pace as well throughout the week. So yeah, there's a lot of variation, as I mentioned. There's a lot of variation in between divisions, and Belgium, it's one of the most difficult tracks, but also you have to be absolutely perfect because the times, from at least from my experience, can be very, very close.
Yeah, especially this year as well, with the way the curbs are. Belgium is normally tough anyway, but the curbs on this, if you touch some of the curbs on this track, you are sent sideways. It would not surprise me if we see a couple of safety cars in this race, to be honest, and for the same in most divisions. I'm just praying that we don't see rain in Division 2.
Yeah, honestly, I am praying for no rain in Division 2. But yeah, hopefully we won't get a wet race. TRT James, 44.1, his first lap of the session. Got a little bit of a slipstream from his teammate, and that's another thing that we could be seeing a little earlier on here is slipstream, especially towards the end of the session as well. Teammates trying to work out, get a little extra bit of time, 2 maybe 3/10 at the best if you get a perfect slipstream in a one sector, either from the run, the entire third sector up until the final chicane, or you can get the run out of turn 1 all the way down to Lake Com at turn 5. It's going to be interesting to see what guys or drivers see Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what these drivers decide to do in terms of slipstream. But not many people are on a flying lap right now. There's a few people on outlaps: Marty, Akon Corrupt, Connor, Alt Maverick, McDutchface, Noah J, and then people are coming in the pits and United Bosnia. I think United Bosnia is actually going for another one, considering his current fastest lap time. I think Slayer might be... No, Slayer's backed off. Cam K, I think, has backed off as well. TRT James just finished a lap. So let's try and find someone on board. I think it's going to be United Bosnia, the next driver.
Yeah, and I think what we'll see as well with this track, given its nature and how long it is, obviously it is the longest track on the calendar. Is it longer than Singapore?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's the longest track, I think. So
yeah, this one is just over 7 kilometers, I believe.
Yeah.
So
you'll tend to see the longest split gap between first and 20th. Like, the gap will be a lot bigger compared to, which is natural. But you see, with this track, you don't think it. This line can change your time so much that you can gain so much time when you don't think you can. So it'll be interesting to see just how big the field gap is between the front and the back, and whether that translates over to the race as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of places you can gain time, even just while at every track, I guess. Just a mile an hour or a kilometer per hour more through a corner gains you quite a bit, or quite a decent amount of time, just over one lap. And then obviously that will carry over into the race and it'll gain more because, well, I think it's 22 laps here at Spa in the race. So, yeah, not the highest amount of laps we'll see on the calendar, but I think it's one of the lowest, if not the lowest, because of the track length. But yeah, so that means for strategy-wise, it should be a pretty easy soft-medium strategy around lap 5, 6, I would imagine, for the soft-medium, and then medium-soft if you're going to try and do the alt strat, which it's not too amazing here in Belgium on this game, at least from what I've seen in practice. So yeah, I would imagine lap 14, maybe 13 if you brave it out for the medium-soft.
Lap 1. Soft to hard lap 1, boys.
Yeah.
Mentalist just told me it's 100%.
Oh my goodness, 100% race, 44 laps. Do you really want to do 44 laps of Belgium?
I'd rather do that than Singapore. Actually, would I? I think I'd rather do Singapore, you know. I don't agree with this track whatsoever. I don't know why. And it's such an iconic track in real life, but on the game, it's just... I dread it whenever we have to race it.
Yeah, me too, honestly. I don't want to say I hate this track, because a lot of drivers... especially in the lower division, absolutely love this track, and I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, if you ask it, if you were to take a poll, the drivers who like the track the most would be divisions 4, 5, and maybe a little bit in 3. And the drivers who hate this track the most, divisions 1, 2, and a little bit of 3. So it's kind of split right down the middle.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this track is it does always give good racing because of you can do different strategies for one, and also setups can vary so much here because a lot of the track, especially sector 2, it is windy. You do want downforce, but you can gain so much on the top of Eau Rouge and then obviously this back straight with a fast straight line setup. You do see a lot of variation, so it'll be really interesting. As you can see, Slumpcon coming up to bus stop, and I know he said to you that he's possibly predicting a podium maybe. So we'll see what his lap times are like. He's coming on the medium tyres though, so he's feeling a bit confident. 44.5 in the mediums. I mean, the gap between the mediums and the softs is over a second anyway, so I feel like you're being a bit ambitious if you want to qualify in the top 10 on the mediums.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but I mean, P11 on the mediums is not bad at all. To be honest, 44.5. That does get bested though by his teammate on the softs, 43.5, so just over a second faster. So those Williams guys looking pretty close, but as of right now, I think Slumcon would have a little bit of advantage if he was able to put together a soft lap. But Eduk puts himself into P7 as of right now. Mr. Woutzer still on provisional pole position with that first lap time that he sent Major Falcon on his first lap time as well, 42.9, still on the front row. And then it's the two Ferraris on the second row. So looking pretty decent for Alt Maverick and maiden winner in Division 4 for Marty last time out in Portugal. Ryan B, though, is coming through the final sector now through Curb Paul Frere. And down this back straight-ish.
Maverick getting slipstream from Bosnia.
He's getting a little bit, but he's invalid, and I think he's on an in lap. And Bosnia is just about to start one anyways. But yeah, Ryan B heading through the bus stop chicane. He's actually going to come into the pits. Interesting. I thought he might finish that lap. Maybe just made a few mistakes and was pushing to get back in the pit lane. But there are so many yellow flags. I can't tell how much time we have left. There we go. 5:45.
43.0. That's a good lap. Puts him in the top 5. And speaking of MCR, when we look at other battles, obviously the main championship is the one you want to aim for, but we've got a little P5, P6 here. MCR and Mr. Walter both on 65 points. They're both starting to come into form over these last few weeks. Walter's currently obviously sitting on pole with that banker lap. MCR in 5th. We could see there's a few more little battles in the midfield, which is just going to make this season a bit interesting if you're not just going to look at the front of the pack. And it does also add to the team championship, as we've got Alpine in 3rd. I think Ferrari, they're closing up. You'd expect Ferrari to get better. Marty had a good performance last week, so if you can put them together, Ferrari will be hunting the Mercedes team. It's all to play for still in the midfield, to be honest.
Yeah, there are a lot of drivers who are, well, tied on points. I think there are 3 different occasions where drivers are tied on points, and one of them 3 drivers are tied on the same amount. I think it's Energetics, Marty, and Slumcon, all tied on 35. So Energetics, who I think is Akan Corrupt down at P19, who is, well, not going to be able to set a lap time because he crashed out. And then Marty, who obviously won last week and is currently 3rd, and then Slumcon, or Connor, who is P16 on the medium tires right now, as Slayer went up into P8. Just looking for other drivers on a lap.
Yeah, I think when you talk about like how close people are in points, this is possibly one of the most balanced divisions, I think, out of the 5 that we have. The midfield is so close, like everyone just kind of interchanges. It's at that point where a podium for one of these drivers from 7th down can raise you about 4 or 5 places in the championship.
Yeah, it's a little bit I think almost every division has like those 2-3 drivers that are up at the top. Like Division 1 obviously is going to have Montana. Division 2 as of right now has Nuth and me, not to sound cocky. Division 3 has Forza Brendan and Tin Can. And then I think Carwin Rob is in there a little bit as well. Division 4 we have Maverick and we have Ryan B. And I think Division 5 is, I want to say, Lars and Steven Roebuck, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. But yeah, every division has those 2-3 drivers that are up at the top, and then you have a very, very close midfield.
And then for every single division that has a TRT James and a RAL Nolan at the bottom there trying to do something.
Yeah, but yeah, you're always going to have those, I don't want to say those type of people, you're going to have drivers that are all over, really. And then you're going to have the really consistent drivers. And as of right now, it's, well, I would say Ryan B has been the more consistent out of the 2 between the 2 championship protagonists. And just missed one race in Russia, which could have been a good one, especially since Alt Maverick ended up winning that race. Alt Maverick missed a race in USA where Ryan B ended up winning, but just a few mistakes from Alt Maverick when he's really had the pace to do something pretty helpful with his race. Just a few mistakes that have ended up putting him a little bit further down the field, and then Ryan be able to capitalize.
Yeah, it's been an interesting debate this season, because there has been debate on, has Maverick, is he where he is because of, you'd say seemingly how lucky he's been with the safety cars this season, but when he's been on track and there's not been a safety car, like, his pace has been the top of the field. Like, the safety cars have helped, we can't like pretend they haven't, but his pace has still been one of the best in the division, if not the best. Like, you can't deny that. We saw him at Portimao, he was just carving his way through the field. He is really, really fast. Yeah, he has had a bit of luck with the safety cars, but I mean, you're not going to say no, are you? When it happens, like, you're not going to slow down because you don't want to take advantage. So, at the moment, I think Maverick's main issue has just been sometimes the want to win the race over the championship. I feel like he's made some decisions based on the race that he's having and not thinking of the bigger picture, where Ryan B seems to think of the championship a bit more when he does the races. But I do think on pace, Maverick probably has the advantage. So overall, this track as well being as you said, known for being a wheel track, so we can see whether that has any benefit at all. I hope it does, because I'd like to see Maverick, if Maverick won and Ryan B got second, the championship's down to 1 point again. If Maverick got his fastest lap, they're even. So for the sake of a close title fight, I wouldn't mind seeing Maverick take this one.
Yeah, honestly, because the closer the championship gap gets, the more pressure it puts on the drivers, really. So it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers can cope with that, I guess, as we get down to the end of the season, just in round 11 currently, and then we have a six race sprint, I guess, if you want to say, after. Well, we don't are not even racing next week because it is going to be, we're going to have our break week in between Belgium and Italy. So
and I am out on the pisser. We're having a good time next week, boys. But everyone's starting their last laps now, so these are the important laps. We've got Marty as well, back up at the top again. Hopefully that win's giving him a bit of confidence now. It'd be good to see him starting to keep it on a bit. I remember Marty's pretty decent at Belgium, from what I've seen. I think last season he did really well at Belgium. So,
yeah,
was it Marty? There was a Ferrari. I don't know if I'm just putting that with Marty because he's in a Ferrari this season, but he's on a purple Sector 2. If Marty starts to come into form, this could really either put pressure on Maverick or help him out a lot, having his teammate at the front. We were talking about that last week, weren't we? Whether team orders will come into effect at some point, but he's going to come through, and at the moment it looks like he's on a potential pole lap. Obviously he's one of the first ones to set one, so everyone else will have to come after him.
Yeah, well, qualifying is officially over now. Checker flag has dropped, and 42.4. That's a really good lap. He's the first driver
Maverick's
really
validated as well.
Yeah, he's the first driver really to improve up at the front of the field, besides obviously Mr. Wouter, 42.5, but still not good enough for provisional pole position. As you mentioned, Alt Maverick hasn't validated. Major Falcon currently third on the grid on a 42.990. He is on a lap right now. Let's see what the middle sector split is going to be for the Alpine driver. He's up by 0.4 of a second, so this could put him on the front row, but it's still going to be a little bit short of pole position as of right now. His teammate, though, in the Alpine, just about to come into the bus stop chicane. Let's see how much time he has left. Ryan B isn't validated, crucially, though, so he's not going to be able to improve. So let's watch MCR coming to the line. He's only up by 1/10 through the middle sector, and he doesn't improve. He lost a lot of time in that final sector, and has only improved by 14 thousandths of a second, but only 100th off of Alt Maverick. So Alt Maverick saved for the time being. Major Falcon, though, goes onto the front row, 800ths of a second behind Marty. So it looks like Marty has provisional pole position almost wrapped up here. There's an Alpha Tauri about to come across the line. Let's see what he can do. P9 to P4 puts himself on the second row in front of Alt Maverick there. Slimcon is backed off. Noah J is backed off. Slayer is still on a lap in the Red Bull, just coming into the final chicane. Someone just improved. I'm not entirely sure who, though. I think that was McDutchface in the other Red Bull. So let's see what Slayer can do. Currently P14 and improves 0.3 of a second, puts himself up into P8. I think that might just be qualifying over. I think it is going to be. So it's going to be Marty on pole position, followed by Major Falcon, Mr. Wouter. I'm not entirely sure how to say that.
I say Wouter and Wouter every single. I don't have a clue.
No, I meant the Alpha Tower, who's just behind him. But
Relicaire?
I don't know.
I mean, first race P4.
Yeah.
Way to make a statement.
And then behind him on the third row of the grid, we have Alt Maverick and MCR. Decent result for MCR. They're been pretty consistent up and around the top 5 in the last few races. Ryan B, unfortunately, invalidating his final lap, so he's only going to start in P7. I'm sure he's going to be a little bit disappointed with that. Slayer, though, with a decent lap at the end to put himself into P8. United Bosnia P9. McDutchface is going to be starting in possibly one of the worst spots on the grid in P10. And then you have the two Williams of Eduk and Connor on that 6th row. They're both going to get free tire choice. So the Williams possibly looking to work together a little bit here. And then we have Cam K with another disappointing qualifying for him. And then Noah J, Iverbrand Mike, Storm, Ariel, Jordan, TRT James, Energetics, and then Con Corrupt there. So, interesting qualifying session. It looks like Marty's, well, I don't want to say found his form once again, because he was quick at the beginning of the season, but those mistakes in the race are really what set him back.
Yeah, I think with Marty, he's always shown from the start that he can be up there. He just weren't putting it together, and now he seems to be doing at the right time of the season as well. I think he's got a chance to still make moves in the championship as well. He's currently in 35 points, like you said. That win helped him out massively. He was on 10 points before that. Another good result now. 6 races after this, there's still a long way to go. He could still climb his way up. I don't think you could ever really put him in a title fight. Top 3 or 4 is possibly on the cards.
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe
a little
5th.
bit far, but yeah. So if Marty really picks it up, he could possibly get top. I want to say maybe 5th in front of MCR, but I think that, I mean, what is the gap right now? 30 points between them for Marty. 30 points between him and MCR. I mean, if he puts together a strong final, well, including this one, final 7 races, that it could be a really good result for him, and maybe possibly challenge Major Falcon, who seems to be dipping a little bit recently.
Yeah, I think overall we're seeing a lot of changes in form. People are. Oh, it looks a bit cloudy. Is that just me seeing that, or?
No, I see it as well.
Oh, please, bit of rain, please, I beg. Yeah, I think people have had different levels of form, and people are starting to go up and down. It's a bit like a roller coaster. The other two people that have kept it, for the most part, consistent have been Ryan and Maverick, and that's why they find themselves near the top. So, there's a lot of drivers in here with the ability to get podiums. It's just whether they can see it through, and this track is one to definitely test whether you can see it through.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna have to be really on point here at Belgium, especially like to be quick and keep it on track without picking up too many penalties or warnings. So, yeah, it's going to be a difficult race for these drivers. I don't want to say it's going to be Singapore type difficult, but it's going to be one of the. It's definitely a race that you remember if it goes well, and you remember if it goes terribly. So, that's at least what I've seemed to found when it comes to Belgium. But
I remember Belgium for my first ever league race win. Got this here. Went back when I was auto gear Nolan back in the day.
I want to say it was my first league racing one as well.
It's always been a good track for me, but I've always been slow. I remember whenever I did practice, I was never fast here, but for some reason I'd always get a good result. So that, touch wood, happens tonight. We'll see you. I mean, we know TDB's going to bin it at the start of the last sector. He's going to hit the wall, and then he'll report the wall as well.
What is the record? Going to be like 7-0 wall versus TDB?
Oh no, I reckon he'll win this one.
Okay.
You're probably going to somehow find your way up there. I don't know how. You're a bit rubbish, but...
Well, I know.
But I tell you what, we talk about dealing with the pressure, because we've given Maverick a bit of slack for making the wrong decisions. Ryan B, we will say, he had the chance there. Maverick had invalidated his lap. Ryan B had the chance and he invalidated, so... When the pressure's on, we've seen both men struggle to full on come through. And we did say this track could see a bit of difference now. As Marty's at the front, got Major Falcon, who is currently 4th in the championship. If Major Falcon could get a result, if he gets a win, for instance, and Maverick and Ryan don't have the best of races, that instantly puts him within 20, 25 points of them. So we could see something pretty good from Falcon here. Where's Kamke? 13th. And you were saying, I don't think the reverse strat's too great, is it?
It's not amazing. But he's not even on the reverse strat, because only 4 drivers out of the 10 outside of, well, the 10 who have free tire choice, only 4 of them are on the mediums, which is an interesting decision.
The pit window's so early as well.
Yeah, those soft tires, they can go like 9, 10 laps without really dying. I mean, they start to drop off towards the end, but I mean, that's going to happen no matter what. But yeah,
what that sounds like. It sounds like they're all predicting a safety car, because I'd predict quite a few on this track, and I would not want to be on the mediums when that safety car comes in.
Yeah, very true, very true. But yeah, we can talk about strategy. Both Williams, Educk, and Connor both on the mediums, then Cam K splitting them from Noah J in P14, and then Ivory and Mike on the softs, and then Storm on the mediums, Jordan, TRT James, and then the 2 Alpha males both on softs at the back of the grid. But Marty
right,
is...
Come on, quick, who are you going for? Quick, top 3, go.
Top 3, let's say Marty wins 2 in a row. And then Ryan B second because he won't crash, and then let's go for All Maverick third. A little bit of boring top 3, but still, anyways.
I'll go Major Falcon, Marty, Ryan B.
All right, and now we have the 5 lights, and well, lights out and away we go. Marty gets a pretty decent start. He's going to move over to the left side of the circuit and cover off Major Falcon into turn 1. He looks up the inside, does the Alpine driver, a little bit of contact between the 2 drivers, but the Alpine is able to get that stop. The Alpha Tower, All Maverick trying to get past, well, the Alpha Tower. I'm not entirely sure once again. But Marty will lead from Major Falcon and from Mr. Walter as we head up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Alt Maverick looking to make a move. He's already going side by side, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. He's getting the run. He has a little bit of slipstream from Mr. Walter, but Major Falcon's going for the lead already down into Lake Calm, and the Alpine driver I think he's going to get it because Marty just backs out of the move, goes a little bit deep into the braking zone, but is able to keep the position and keep close behind as well. Alt Maverick is also up into fourth, but Mr. Walter has a little bit of a slide. Alt Maverick has to back off quite a bit there, and he's looking up the inside into Ravage. And I think he's going to get that position because Mr. Wilder seems to really be struggling on the brakes here early on. He must not have them up to temperature. And into no name, Mr. Wilder's already lost 2 positions on this first lap. And now All Maverick is up into third. Major Falcon leads and Marty in second place. MCR has passed Mr. Wilder as well. Does Mr. Wilder have damage maybe? I'm not entirely sure because he's holding up a lot of driver. McDutchface from 10th is already up into 6th. United Bosnia from 9th is into 7th as well. Ryan B has lost a position out on track. Mr. Wilder definitely has damage.
Yeah, I chose to watch Dutchface, right, on the... I don't know why, but I chose to watch him off the start. My guy sent it and made it 3 wide going into turn 1 and, like, split a sandwich and went straight through the middle. It was brilliant. Maverick as well, you have to give him credit. He knows he's got something to fight for here. He knows Ryan B's further down the grid. He has managed to send it on people. Currently in P3, his teammate ahead of him. This is looking good for the Ferraris.
Yeah, Mr. Wilder from 3rd on the grid is already down to 16th here. He's looking up the inside of his teammates. Someone just got damaged. I think that was Iverbryn Mike. Slayer goes a little bit deep into the chicane. Ooh, Iverbryn Mike tags Storm there on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and he's going to lose a ton of positions there. Mr. Wilder's into the pits. Alcon Corrupted is into the pits as well as TRT James. Ariel Jordan got caught up in an incident lower down the field because he was off in the gravel at Stavlo. But heading up through Eau Rouge and Radion for the second time in this race. Major Falcon moving over to the left side, trying to break that DRS, followed by Marty, Alt Maverick, and then Raliker in P4. 1.3 seconds and already dropped from DRS range. And MCR, McDutchface, United Bosnia, Ryan B, Ida, Cam K, and Noah J, who's a little bit further back, all trying to follow him and trying to get that DRS, which will be active on the next lap.
What a chaotic start. Normally you see people waiting. Maverick's already picked up a penalty, and I was going to mention the penalties. That's why I didn't have him in the top 3. He's been noticed for picking them up. Lap 2 to already have a penalty. This track, they're very easy to pick up, but I mean, he needs to be careful. He just needs to look at the situation. Ryan B's currently in P8. It's not the easiest to pick up positions on this race after the first few laps. I know a penalty still could send him down, but if he just chills now, I think it's just very early to pick up a penalty in it at Spa.
Yeah, it is quite early. If you get into a good rhythm, you'll be fine for almost all of the race. But if you aren't able to settle into a rhythm, especially there are other tracks where you have to settle into a rhythm. For example, Monza. If you don't settle into a good rhythm, especially on previous games, you will get a ton of penalties. You're going to be slow. You're going to be uncomfortable the entire race, and it's not going to be a good race for you. But if you're able to settle into a pretty decent rhythm, unlike all Maverick has done in these first 2 laps as of right now, 1.1 seconds already behind his teammate. That's an interesting line through the bus stop. But yeah, you're going to struggle throughout the entire race. And he's already dropped DRS from his teammate, and now Raliker is starting to come back to him. And MCR must have made him a little bit of a mistake. And now we have a VSC for someone.
That's Walter, isn't it, again? No?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, is it Ocon?
Maybe. But he didn't crash on track. I think he retired in the pits. On
it
lap
can
1.
happen sometimes, that, for some reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Has he just overtaken Ryan B under the VSC?
No, I think he was just going slow, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know what's going on.
Let's give us a moment to take a breather at the moment. Best starters, McDutchface, incredible start, 10th to 6th. Absolutely ballsy move going into turn 1. Maverick, you have to give him credit, although he's got the penalty, still, he's up into 3rd. Marty seems really fast. If Marty could drag him along a bit as well, that'd be great for them. Be interesting to see what they decide to do with pits. We have Raliker on his first time here, stays in 4th as we get started again. I mean, obviously the biggest fault, Mr. Wota, you have to feel bad for him. I don't know what quite happened to him. Slayer as well, also dropping 10 positions.
Yeah, not entirely sure what happened. Well, Walter got damaged.
Side by side.
Yeah, Kemke and Eduk were going side by side. Eduk let Ryan B through. Kemke trying it up the inside and around the outside there. Yeah, Eduk quite strict there. With that overtaking maneuver from Camk. Goes a little bit wide, does Eduk, but is able to keep it on the track. Is there someone in the wall?
Noah J just went into the wall. I don't think he's picked up damage. He got very lucky there. If he has, it's not visible. He just smacked the wall on the outside, and that's exactly what I predicted for TDV to do. Remember this when it happens. Remember me saying it. It's very hard with heavy fuel at the start of this track. You will see people running wide. That's why the pens get picked up. Heavy fuel, you just go a lot wider than you think you would.
Yeah, it's interesting driving with heavy fuel here, especially if you have quite a few slides right at the beginning of the race and your tires start to overheat, especially on the softs. Right at the beginning, those left side tires can heat up quite quickly. But up at the front of the race, Major Falcon almost broke DRS from Marty, but was just about unable to, and he's currently leading still. Alpine driver McDutchface is moving his way past MCR because DRS is absolutely insane here for almost no reason. McDutchface up into P5.
Altitude, isn't it? I think.
I guess.
That's what they say, it's because you're so high up.
Ooh.
Oh, what's that? Bosnia there.
Yeah, Bosnia.
MCR go for a move? No, he's going to back out of it. I tell you people to look out for. If there's no safety car, and that's a big if, but if there's no safety car, Walter and Jordan, we know Walter has the pace, they've stopped. And those mediums can go to the end. They'll be hurting at the end, but they can go to the end. Walter's shown the pace. If there isn't a safety car, they could find themselves near the front at the end of this race. Genuinely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They'll definitely be in the mix towards the end of the race if they can't keep the pace. If they can't keep the pace up with all the drivers up at the front, especially if they're going to continue battling on like they have been so far throughout this.
Just hit the same part. Sorry to cut in there. I think he might have a bit of damage. Or it seems to be quite forgiving at the moment. But that's 3 drivers I've seen hit the outside there, coming onto sector 3. So that corner's really catching people out.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it's a difficult corner, but it really quite is. Storm looking for a move on Noah J, but he's not going to be able to. But actually, Ralliker is going to be the first driver out of the guys on the softs, or started on the softs, into the pits. McDutchface started, McDutchface fastest lap of the race. Ralliker is getting a new front wing, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a shame.
Yeah, so that practically brings him, takes him out of this race. At least decent points for now. But Major Falcon up at the front of the race almost broke DRS from Marty. Was able to get that gap over a second, but just not before the DRS detection point. So Marty's still in second, following him through. All Maverick still 1.7 seconds behind them, but McDutchface is 2.5 seconds behind All Maverick. So All Maverick in a little bit of no man's land and can kind of chill out in this race. But with that 3-second time penalty, he's gonna kind of have to get the move on. McDutchface is broken from United Bosnia, and there are quite a few. There are a few gaps in the midfield, and then you have like a 6-car train who are all within 0.3 of a second. And mentioning within 0.3 of a second, we have Ryan B, who's 2.5 tenths behind MCR, who's following United Bosnia.
Yeah, if I'm Maverick now, I calm down a bit. Obviously, if you can get past, you do. I wouldn't push too hard though, because Ryan B is not in a great spot currently. Like, you are going to beat him with the penalty. If you pick up more pens, like if he pushes and gets 6 seconds, for instance. If a safety car comes out at the end, you drop so many positions. That's the hardest part about having penalties. Safety cars at the end bunches everyone up. That's when you find people that are like 12th on track. They finish like P4 because they've not got a penalty. What is...
I think Eduk hit the back of Ryan B coming out of that right-hander and sent both of them into the wall.
Has Ryan got damage? This could be huge.
Yeah, he's missing his entire front wing.
This could be huge.
Yeah, this is gonna be huge for the championship. MCR, United Bosnia, both into the pit lane.
And Ryan's in. Luckily, he hasn't pitted for the fresh tyres yet, but he's gonna lose a lot of time with that wing. Safety car would have really helped him out there, to be honest. It's not happened. And Maverick now, if he's got somebody in his ear, don't pick up another penalty. Just race a very normal race, and you're going to be in a great spot.
Well, United Bosnia and MCR both put on hard tires, which is an interesting decision from them, considering the mediums can go from here. But MCR still out in front of Mr. Walter and Ralliker. Ralliker, who just pit, and Mr. Wilder, who pitted on lap 1 after that damage. So Mr. Wilder not entirely out of it, really, but he shouldn't be getting good points if there isn't a safety car. Any other close battles? Energetics on the back of Noah J.
Mike's just going past Jordan, but it's a very standard Orange DRS overtake.
Yeah, we're going to see quite a bit of that. I would imagine here in this race, or really any race at Spa. Looking up towards the front.
Okay, got past Wota, and I'm looking forward to seeing how fast he is actually, because he seems really good. The first race, obviously, he had that incident, which is a shame. He hit the barrier, which a lot of people have done. He's catching a lot of people out. Be interesting to see how he makes his way through the field. He's already made a stop as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, well, yeah, he got that front wing change, and has already made his way past Water, and he has 3-lap fresher tires, so that means he's going to have about 12% less tire wear as we get to the end of the race, because it's about 4%, I think, for the mediums. Completely cuts Stavlo and then extends at Stavlo as well, so that's an interesting line to be taking, and then almost crashes into the wall, and just about that, he got 3 warnings there. So, commentator's curse, if you will.
Dear me. We'll go on board a sump con, because it looks like at the moment, whilst Maverick, he's just going to be chilling at the top. I don't think he'll be making a move, so he might do. As Falcon's already... Is he on ERS? He is. And Marty's going to go for the race lead. He's taking... Falcon's out of ERS. Is he planning on pitting this lap? I'm surprised they've stayed out. I feel like last lap was the lap to go.
Honestly, I think all Maverick should have pitted on the previous lap.
Yeah, it looks like a mistake here, because Maverick's going to have to stay out. Unless Marty stays out for him, which I don't know why he would do. He's on for another win.
Yeah.
Look at the ERS difference, though. Falcon's on 13%.
Yeah, Marty has an insane amount of ERS.
We saw this last week as well. Like, do you remember? He was at the front, and he had like 80+% of ERS. Like, he just controlled it. If he's finding a little bit of confidence...
Honestly, I would say stay out one more lap and use your ERS on the next lap. But let Maverick pit. Try and undercut Major Falcon if he decides to stay out, which would be an interesting decision. We're not going to say the smartest decision, but...
If you're a Maverick, then, are you a gentleman and you allow Marty to keep the win, or do you think about the championship, or do you go for the undercut, sorry?
I would say, honestly, if Marty wanted to play the team game, was Ida gets a 10-second penalty for spinning at Puan. Honestly, if I were Marty, like, no matter what, I stay out and use your ERS. Drain as much as you can.
As well.
Yeah.
Now, is this a play for the championship?
Well, there's not much really going on, because the mediums right away, they aren't amazing. Like,
no, but the softs by now are bad.
The softs are dead by now. So let's see what happens. Major Falcon comes into the pits, gets mediums. All Maverick comes out and we'll get mediums as well. So
this is really interesting.
If All Maverick
we're seeing it here in a normal event. Sorry to cut you off there. In a normal event, the driver in the front would go ahead. If Maverick's not in a title fight here, Marty's going in first.
Yeah. I think Alt Maverick needs to use his ERS, try and get past Falcon here. Because if you can get past Falcon without having to deal with Marty being in front of him, Major Falcon really slidey up at the top of Radion there. Alt Maverick using his ERS, has the DRS on. Major Falcon's derating.
How?
I have no idea how that's even possible. But honestly, yeah, now you have to try and get past him as soon as possible. United Bosnia has crashed at Eau Rouge, the first victim. And no safety car as of right now.
That would have done wonders for Falcon.
Yeah, it really would have.
Marty, sorry.
Yeah.
I am surprised. I mean, when you look at the standings, really, what's Marty fighting for? Yes, a win would be good, but it's not. He's got many other races. I think, as a team, like, obviously you don't like to see it, and as a relentless driver, this is very, awkward to say, but you don't like to see people helping each other out outside of being in an actual team. But in an in-game team, it makes perfect sense, I think, for Marty for the title fight to let Maverick kind of have priority here.
Some routers also crashed out at Eau Rouge, or in Radion. So,
here we go. Maverick, Falcon, Noah.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because Major Falcon's going to have Slipstream. Noah J has, well, a lot more ERS than Falcon does. Marty's into the pits as well as McDutchface. Both of them started on the soft tires. Major Falcon goes a little bit deep. Energetics is into the pit lane as well. So everybody started on the soft tires is into the pit lane now. Some kind of storm staying out on track. Marty is going to be out in front of these guys quite comfortably because they're not even. Well, they hit the apex of turn 1 as soon as Marty was out, so that's what the overcut can do. And Marty, he didn't use that much ERS on that next lap as well. So this is what I was saying. I think All Maverick needed to get past Falcon here because then he could have gotten past Noah J very, very easily as we head down towards Lake
Falcon's got no ERS.
Yeah, Falcon using the ERS that he has left. Noah J will go to the inside for Lake Com. Tries to defend the position, but Major Falcon gets it around the outside. Noah J didn't really put up too much of a fight there in his defense.
For Falcon.
Yeah, and if Falcon can get away, which I think he can because he should have the pace. At least he showed up at the front of the race.
Noah's gone wide.
And that's a gift for Maverick, really.
Mate, this keeps happening. How does he do this? This is unreal. Right, I'm sorry, QVR. They've been dishing.
Noah has damage.
Noah's got damage. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Oh,
Jesus.
And he's dead.
Okay. McDutchface just had an accident, I think, there in his pants after seeing that.
That was an interesting spin for Noah J. And spins again across the track in front of the other championship leader in Ryan B.
Speaking of accidents in the pants, I really need a wee, so I'll be right back.
All right. But yeah, just watching on board here with Slumcon heading onto lap number 10 for the Williams driver. Connor putting together a pretty decent race for himself. Storm in third place, and then Marty, who is already pit in this race. Noah J has gone off the track again, has actually retired this time. Interesting driving from Noah there. But yeah, Connor leads the way. Storm in second place. Marty, who's already pit in this race, he's going to be in P3, followed by Major Falcon, and then followed by Alt Maverick. So the third through fifth have already pitted in this race. So is McDutchface in P6, Cam K in P7. Mr. Wilder pitted on, quite a bit earlier onto those medium tires. MCR pitted onto the hards, which, they should get to the end quite easily if the mediums can make it from when these drivers are pitting right now. Edic just behind him in P10, followed by Iverman Mike, and then Ryan B, who's trying to make his way back up into this race after an incident with Educ, I think. Yeah, Educ. And then Energetics in P13 trying to follow him, and then Ariel Jordan in P14, followed by Slayer, 21.7 seconds behind them. So Slayer not having the greatest of races for himself. But I think the closest battle out on track, I want to say, is either between Major Falcon and Alt Maverick, or between Mr. Wilder Campke and then MCR, who's following them.
Yeah, and we are not even halfway through this race yet. We have lost Noah J, Relica, United Bosnia, Ocon, and TRT James. We've had another 4 or 5 drivers pit for damage. This track is really claiming people, and this is what I meant. It's a complete change-up of the grid. Marty, Falcon's holding on, but he's using all ERS he possibly can to keep that position. Marty just seems to be controlling. He's found some sort of form in the last few weeks. I think he'll be upset actually that the break's coming next week. He'll want things to carry on, but he won't be worrying at the moment. Maverick, he's got that 3-second penalty. If he needs to get past Falcon and start making a gap, because Falcon's clearly struggling. He's having to use the ERS. Either he wants Falcon to get a penalty, or he needs to get past him in the next couple of laps and start to create some sort of gap. I'd probably abuse. If he's going to get past him here, he's going to send it at the top, and that is job done, simple as you like. And he's not got a lot of ERS to work with, but I think at this point in the race, he could benefit from just using and getting a second away from him.
Yeah, All Maverick really needs to pull away, because as of right now, he's losing 2 positions to Major Falcon and McDutchface. And what is that right now? 8 points? If the race were to end right now, All Maverick would be picking up 8 points in P6, and Ryan B would picking up 2. So the championship lead would be championship would be down to 2 points, I think, if my math is correct. But Ryan B is falling very close to Iverman Mike. Has been trying to get past him the last few laps. But we still have a few drivers left to pit yet. We have Slumcon and Storm, both 1-2 in this race. Mr. Water, who's been on those medium tires for a very, very long time, are 2 drivers who have, I guess, yet to pit. But
bar a safety car, Ryan B, I can't see him getting too much from this race. Maverick must know that. If he can just stay where it, get that 3-second gap, this is huge for the title. I mean, it all depends on what Marty's goals are for this season. Because if they're working as a team, switching positions near the end, if it'll still get Marty second, it would be huge for the title for Maverick. I'm not saying, I don't know like how they are as a team. I don't know whether their aims are just Marty wants to do the best he can, or whether they're going to work as a team for Maverick. If towards the end of this race though, if it's me and my teammate for instance, and they're in a title fight, I think I'm letting them pass in the last lap here.
Well, if Maverick can pull that gap to Major Falcon, it's going to be difficult just because, well, DRS is a thing and it's ridiculously powerful, as we mentioned many times before. We also have the battle between Ryan B and Iverburn Mike. Mr. Water and Kim K are also pretty close, but not quite close enough. Ryan B was 70% here. Yeah, there's no way Ivor keeps him behind here, right?
Yeah, Mike's held him up a lot.
It's a little bit late for Mike. Trying it around the outside, and he's got it done. So
he's cost Ryan a lot of time now. I thought Ryan had to let off one through Eau Rouge. Turn 1 as well. I don't know what line Mike took. I think he just locked up maybe. Mike obviously no assists. So no matter, he could finish last every single race, and I give him all the respect in the world because there's not a chance in hell I could go no assists.
Yeah, same, pretty much.
Especially on this track, no assists on this track, fair play, absolutely fair play.
Yeah, I could never ever do no line here. That would be just a pain. I could do no line nowhere. That just no line in general is just a pain.
I mean, you've tried and you can't even get a podium in ZOR, mate.
Let's not talk about it. All right. But
Felipe Massaca's returning soon.
Oh goodness. But yeah, Ryan B has made his way past, and Energetics I think has had a slight spin through Puan, just pitting onto the soft tires, which is a little bit early. Trying to get those soft tires to the end of the race, doing half the race on them. But just in front of Ryan B and Iverburn Mike. MCR 1.4 seconds, 1.4 seconds behind Mr. Wilder, who's half a second behind Cam K, who should have a pretty decent run at overtaking him, going down towards Lake Con as McDutchface has crashed out.
Oh, he was in such a good spot.
That's a weird place
now. Yeah,
because
he's in a really strange place. And
unless he hit the left side wall and bounced over to the right, like Lando Norris did in qualifying. I mean, that's
another position for the drivers behind. So Ryan's up into 9th. Maybe this is Ryan's time for a bit of luck.
Yeah, maybe. Because he's slowly making his way up to the field. I mean, that's one less position that Alt Maverick is going to be losing, so I guess it cancels out a little bit. But, yeah. So yeah, as of right now, Alt Maverick would be picking up 5th place, which is 10 points. Ryan B would be picking up 9th place, which is 4 points. So, it's still 6 points is the gap right now. Or, well, the gap would still be 2 points heading to the end of this race. So
I'd just like to interrupt for a moment. There's a cause for celebration, as in Division 1, XL Dillon has DNF'd. So we can just celebrate that for a moment, and then we'll carry on with it.
Well, yeah. I would also, Lewis is in 3rd. We'll say that. Lewis is in 3rd. He got a front row, and then Montana decided to drive away, and now Neo's in 2nd. So, yeah. But looking back towards Division 4, Slimcon still yet to pit. Storm came into the pits on this lap, so he's going to be coming out. He's going to be coming out in front of Ryan B, but a decent way behind MCR, who's still on those hard tires, and he doesn't have DRS to Cam K and Wilder in front of him, so that's actually really going to help Storm. Even though he does have that 3-second time penalty, so he's going to be a little bit hindered by that. But I think if I were Slimcon, I would come in on this lap because the soft tires aren't going to get much better. You're not going to get much more out of them if you wait any longer. So I would say come into the pits on this lap as Iverburn Mike picks up a 3-second time penalty. So, yeah, not much going on in this race, but there's a lot of different battles going on, a lot of different scenarios that are playing out in this race right now. But Alt Maverick we really have to keep watching Alt Maverick because he needs to break away from Major Falcon if he wants to get the second place.
Yeah, it's weird. He was so much faster than him. Like, he just seemed to be behind him the whole time, and now he's got past him. He's struggling to break DRS. You'd like to think once he breaks DRS, that's probably Falcon gone. But Falcon's now caught up to him with the ERS as well. Actually, Maverick's got less than him. So, the tables have turned a little bit. Marty's just looking comfortable. Slumpcon, has he yet to pit? I think he has,
yes.
Yeah, I think he started on the medium. So Slumpcon, I say that, is going in now perfectly timed. So Marty will take control of this race once again. And I can't see anyone challenging him. Falcon's got a pat. Falcon's dropped a lot there.
Has he?
Has he? Oh no, I got a timing glitch. It said 2.6 seconds. I was like, what's happened there?
Interesting. Yeah, Slumpcon into the pits. We'll take his soft tires. He's gonna come out in front of Storm, I want to think. Let's watch on board with Storm. Let's see what happens. Yeah, he's way out in front of Storm, and he's just behind MCR. So he's going to get DRS down towards Lake Com, and I think he should... Well, I don't think MCR is really going to fight this, honestly. Because MCR, I would like to think, is a pretty smart driver. Yeah, just moves over to the left, doesn't even fight it.
On the hard as well.
Yeah.
I mean, MCR's fight, as we said, is with... It's with Walter, isn't it?
Yeah, and Walter is a little bit up the road right now. On
with
12 lap old, yeah, with a penalty, 12 lap old medium tires, like twice the life of everybody around him who's on the medium tires right now. So, yeah, not exactly where you want to be in this race, but now he's going to have Slumpcon coming up behind him, and he's already losing that position to Slumpcon just because of the penalty. So, he still has to make his way past Cam K and Wouter if he wants to try and possibly close up to Major Falcon, but 8.5 seconds from Wouter to Major Falcon, that's a little bit too big of a gap. So only looking for P4, I guess, here for Slumpcon, which would still be a pretty decent result for the Williams driver.
Yeah, and he won't have to do that podium speech like he said, so he'll be alright.
Yeah, exactly.
I think MCR here, actually, if his goal is just to beat Wouter, which is who he's fighting currently, the hards actually seem to have been something that's paid off for him, because they're not going to lose life. Obviously, they're not very fast, but they're not going to lose much life. Walter's struggling already. He's either going to have to pit, or he's just going to be dying by the end. He's got that penalty. I tell you what, we speak about Maverick getting luck with a safety car. If a safety car comes out now, Ryan B cannot complain.
Oh, Walter's in.
Oh, has he just realised they're not gonna make it to the end?
I guess. I mean, he did pit on what, like lap 2, 3?
Yeah, I was surprised he went for the mediums there.
Yeah, a little bit early for him, but yeah, so he's going to be in, so that means he's going to be dropping all the way down to the back of the grid.
Fastest lap on the cards, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, his teammate did just pick it up, so he's going to be, picking up 3 points as of right now, because Eduk has 10 seconds of penalties. So, yeah, MCR... actually, wait. Storm is still... How is Storm still behind MCR? That doesn't make much sense.
He just lost out to Slipstream and DRS, really.
I guess.
I'm surprised he didn't pull away too much. I don't know if he made a little mistake.
Got him into turn
MCR
1,
just seems to be... He just seems to be chilling on the hards. Like, you can tell, like, Storm's nearly pushing him around the track.
Yeah.
I know last game Storm was very good at Belgium, actually. It should get him here as well. Ooh. Interesting place to go for it. And what straight line speed has MCR got?
I have no idea, but it's something... Well, he's pretty quick in a straight line, I must say, because he's able to keep this Aston Martin behind in the corners and able to keep him behind for the most part on the straights as well. A little bit of a lift from Storm, but...
If you Storm, you're probably going to wait for the next DRS zone. He's got nothing else. He's not worried about losing too much time. Although he has... We say that, he needs to start pulling a gap, because Ryan B's behind him, who is a fast driver, and Storm does have a penalty.
Still a decent gap to Ryan B, but yeah, as you said, he can't lose too much time. I think he should get him. Slumpcon, just in front of these guys, is staying in behind Cam K, which I think is the smart decision, and he's going to use that DRS towards Lecom. Storm, out of turn 1, is just staying in behind MCR, just waiting for that DRS. I think that's the smart decision, but it is It really is the boring decision. KMK moving over to the left side of the circuit, and Slimcon will make his way through with DRS and ERS. Storm deciding to go to the left side of the circuit to make his overtake, and he's going to make his way past MCR as he derates with that red light flashing into Lake Hom. So Storm up to 6th, but he does have that penalty, so we'll have to pull away from MCR as we get into the later stages of this race. And then Slimcon, who doesn't have a penalty, has made his way past KMK. So 9.3 seconds in front. I don't think he's going to be able to close down that gap unless he can maybe close the gap enough to where he gets in front of Alt Maverick because of the penalty, but I think that's a little bit ambitious for the Williams driver.
Yeah, and Maverick, like we said, he needed to pull that gap, but he seems to be struggling now with Falcon. So it looks like 3rd place is on the cards for Maverick if things stay the way they are. He's got 4.5 laps to get this done. He's got Major Falcon out of DRS. Falcon's using to get back in. This is going to be a close one. He has to just go all out now. Maybe just use completely and just see if he can force something out of Falcon. Something I don't think is going to make it in time. Marty's, bar a mistake, he's got this one in the bag. Unless Maverick sends him a little text message, please drop back and get in between me and Falcon maybe. But other than that, like, everything seems to be a bit chilled out at the moment. Penalty's going to play a big factor in where people finish. That's a lap and a half.
Yeah, 45.4. That's a pretty decent pace. Obviously, having that DRS overtake and pulling 1.6 seconds from KMK. Yeah, Slimcon up into P4. He closed in just about a second after making the overtake on KMK. Mr. Water, 44. That's also a pretty good lap, I must say. Mr. Water in P7. He showed really good pace, but that damage really early on really screwed over his race.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens though in turn 1. I don't know if it was his fault. I'm sure maybe there'll be a report or something, but Maverick, he's almost getting, like, he's just, you see at the end of the lap, he's just over a second ahead, and then Falcon slaps on the ERS, gets back in time for Rouge, and he's got the DRS again. And unless Maverick can break that cycle, I don't think he's going to be able to pull away, because the DRS is so strong here, it gains you so much.
Yeah, you do gain quite a lot with the DRS. You could, well, depending on how far away you are, you could gain 2, maybe 10ths, or you could gain like 4 or 5. Depending on, once again, depending on how close you are. But yeah, Marty's still out in the lead of this race. Undisclosed driver is still out on the front of this race. Alt Maverick, 2nd place, trying to break away from Major Falcon in these last few laps, trying to possibly nick that 2nd place and bring home a Ferrari 1-2. As Energetics is out of the race. Is there enough time for a safety car? I think there is.
Oh, that would not be good for Maverick.
It would only be out for like a lap or 2, though. I mean, obviously the field would bunch up, and I don't think there's going to be a safety car. We've had a lot of on-track crashes and a lot of on-track retirements, but no safety cars as of yet, which is interesting. Or we did have that one VSC, but
a few of them have been like in dangerous spots as well, where in real life that would probably be a red flag. But Ryan B now is no man's land. Ryan B needs a safety car if he wants anything better than 8th for this race, to be honest. Which I don't. Yeah. He can get. Maverick is looking at 3rd place. If it ends like this, Maverick in 3rd, Ryan being 8th, the gap between them at the moment is 8 points.
Maverick would be leading by 2 points then. Well, will be if it finishes like this. So,
I mean, for a spectator's point of view, this is a pretty great way, because we still get our Marty comeback. Our second half of the season, we're going on a title charge. We've got to move here. We've got Wilder going past Ryan B, but he's got a penalty on him. Ryan B won't be fighting that too hard.
The soft tires are going to be rapid, though.
Yeah, he's on the soft.
He only has a 3-second penalty. He could pull away. You could pull this gap. Keyword on could.
Look how much he's pulled already.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if I'm right, I'll fight that a little bit harder, but.
Yeah, I guess he had ERS to fight it, but I guess he's going to save it for the later laps, trying to push and keep within DRS. But he's already been broken from DRS, so yeah, maybe wanting to fight that a little bit harder. But I guess what's done is done, and now Mr. Water's already starting to pull away, and Mr. Water has a slight spin. Ooh. Able to keep it on track, though. Loses 2/10 to Ryan B, but he's going to be just out of slipstream range as Ryan B, so I don't think he's going to be able to get that DRS. Mr. Water uses a little bit of ERS. Ryan B, in return, uses about a percent or 2 with the overtake, but nothing too major there. But we are on to...
1.2 seconds for Falcon. So he's out of DRS now.
This is Maverick's chance.
Maverick needs to use here.
He really does. Because Major Falcon, he's not going to be within DRS range, but he might just barely be within slipstream range. He's using more ERS.
Falcon needs to use now. This is his chance now. He's out of DRS. He's got to just go for it now. All out flying.
Yeah, all Maverick really needs to send it if he can.
Well, those 5 points could be massive as well.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you're putting 2 points ahead the way they are at the moment. What more actually? Because Ryan's going to drop to 9th. So if Maverick can get second,
3-point gap. Or well, yeah, it'll be 3-point gap as of right now. But if he can break away from Major Falcon in these last 2 laps, it'll be what? It'll be a 6-point gap. Because it changes from 15 to 18 for all Maverick, so that'd be added 3 points onto the gap. So yeah, it would.
Which is very big, because obviously the difference between first and second is 7 points, and we tend to get a lot of Maverick and Ryan B first and second. So
yeah,
I think Maverick, it's a chance. It's a silly one because Falcon ain't no slow driver. Like we're saying, it's not difficult. It is very difficult to pull a 3-second gap on someone. It's not as easy as we're making it out to be, but.
Yeah,
a little mistake by Falcon, a penalty maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna be maybe if he pushes a little bit too hard. But all Maverick has more ERS than Falcon does now, which is interesting considering Major Falcon was in DRS for however many laps. I mean, obviously I guess he would have been using his ERS to try and stay within, but I'm sure he would have been saving a little bit.
Ryan from his penalty range.
Yeah, so
Ryan's now currently in P9. What I will say with Maverick is, if he doesn't get this second place, it's still overall a successful race for him. It puts him back ahead.
Exactly.
But it's just a few extra points, isn't it, really? But you don't want to push too much. And I think he can risk pushing and getting another penalty, and I think he'd still be fine.
Because he still has a 1.2 second cushion to SlimCon right now. 1 second now to SlimCon with a lap and a half left to go, I guess. So
but, yeah, he can afford to push.
Oh shoot, Ryan's pitting.
Wait, what?
He pit for softs. I mean, he's going to be within the penalty window of Ivor, which is.
Fastest lap. It might be smart though, actually.
Yeah, so he's going to get that 1 point. Yeah.
I think if he'd have done that earlier, he could have fought Walter.
I mean, maybe, but he's still what? Well, he's still 21.8 seconds behind him.
I'm just being stupid.
So, I mean, yeah. Either way, it's still P9 for Ryan B as of right now, and then that 1 extra point. So,
but one thing we can say for the team standings, this
is huge for Ferrari.
Ferrari have battered Mercedes here. They will definitely go ahead. And even Alpine, like Major Falcon's Alpine, MCR 7th, I think they will be close to going ahead of Mercedes as well.
Oh shoot, D1 is getting spicy. Yeah, it's going to be close.
And you're talking about D1.
Sorry.
This guy.
Sorry, I have to root on my man Campbell, alright?
Fair, D3's getting spicy as well. We've got Calvin 6 tenths behind Tinkham with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, so both D1 and D3 both getting spicy. D4, we don't have a battle for the lead, but we do have a kind of battle for the podium, but not really.
Oh! I'm sorry, lads,
Oh D3. My goodness! D3 is getting mad.
D3's getting crazy. What is this? I'm sorry, we should be talking about Marty. We'll give Marty the attention he deserves in a moment.
Oh, why is it like 15 wide going into turn 1?
I don't understand what's going on. Look at it, we've got an XL sandwich at the front with relentless sandwich, XL bread. I'm sorry, there's nothing really happening in our race, we apologise. D3's going crazy at the moment.
I mean, we have Mr. Wouter going past MCR. I mean, that's a pretty easy move for Mr. Wouter. MCR defending it quite well, but the soft tire is obviously going to be quite a bit better. Ryan B comfortably within Iverburn Mike's gap now. Alt Maverick dropping from Marty, not really pushing anymore. Jordan picks up a 3-second penalty, but that's really all that's happening in this race. Marty enters the final sector, but it's really kicking off in D1 and D2. We're also going to ignore that Montana has a 10.2 second lead up at the front in D1, by the way. After a safety car like 10 laps ago.
It's like watching Marty in this at the moment. He's been dominant for the 2nd week in a row. I was saying whilst you disappeared for a moment, he'll be actually quite upset.
Ooh, here comes Jensen.
Oh.
They're going 3 wide in the Lake Com. What the
Slayer's off.
hell, Campbell?
I was saying, Marty's, as he crosses the line for the win, his second dominant race in a row. Maverick isn't going to be able to pull that 3-second gap, but still overall, what a race for Ferrari. So podium for Maverick, his championship rival down in 10th place, probably going to get 9th on the penalties. Overall, very successful for Maverick. We're going to have Slumpcon in 4th, just outside, 8 positions gained. Same for Cam K, 5th, 8 positions gained. And Storm, who will probably get the in-game driver of the day, gaining 10 positions. Obviously, we had, what, 7 drivers that couldn't finish the race?
Yeah.
So at the moment, that's just Eduk is the... Oh, I don't know what the penalties are like. Yeah, I think it's just Eduk that's not going to get... Is he going to get the last position? There's one person that won't get points.
I think it's going to be Eduk because he has 10 seconds of penalties. Actually, he has 16. His Slayer has 12 as well.
Yeah.
Both of them almost going to the wall there. So...
Which is a shame that one person's going to
here we go.
this race. But...
Calvin versus Tin Can.
Oh!
Oh!
Oh! No way! What's the contact? What happened there?
It's going to be an Ariel 1-2.
Oh my god! What is happening? What is happening?
Oh my... What happened behind them? Well, Derry died.
What is happening?
D3 is popping off. Let's look at D1. Lewis
We've got
defending.
Ariel front two. No, was Tin Can hit round the back there? Please, no. I can't be bothered anymore. Relentless.
No. Calvin was on the outside, and it was just typical like
Okay. I didn't want to see Punky Chicken hit in the back. I can't be asked any more controversy. What has happened?
I think Jensen's going to get a D1 podium, and then Campbell's going to be third with Daniel fourth. And
This is crazy. I'm sorry to the people in Division 4 there for not getting the attention you probably deserve at the end, but that is insane.
yeah.
Oh my lord.
Oh my god. Jensen is rapid. What the hell? All right, well, let's quick run through the order here. So Marty takes his second win on the bounce. Major Falcon takes P2. Alt Maverick will take P3. So 2 of my predictions were right, Marty and Maverick. Slumcon will take P4, Cam K in 5th. Storm will take 6th. MCR will take P7. Mr. Water 8th. Ryan B P9 with fastest lap at the end. Everburn Mike will take P10 with Jordan 11th. And then Slayer taking the final points position. And Eduk, the last driver to finish the race. Ooh, Campbell and Daniel. Oh, no. No way Lewis is going to lose a podium on the line. Oh, rip. All right. Yeah, and then it's Energetics, McDutch Race, CPI, Noah J, Ralliker, United Bosnia, Icon Corrupt, and TRT James, all drivers who did not finish the race. But, yeah, 2 wins in a row for Marty. That really puts himself up in the championship standings. And that's 2, really good races for Ferrari right in a row.
Yeah, Belgium just hasn't failed to deliver. It seems like in all 3 divisions we've had a great race there. Our race kind of died down in the last few laps. Everyone kind of settled down a bit. But that's what happens when you've got half the field on the track.
But yeah, so I guess we could get the drivers in here. So Marty, once again, Maverick, and Major Falcon. We can't get them in here. That's the Alpine, not the Ferrari. All right. Let's see here. We have Alt Maverick. We need Major Falcon. Major Falcon, and then we need Marty. Let's add players. Hello. From last time, can you, if you go to the party screen and then go to your party settings, and then uh, allow your voice to be shared and put it on always allow. Oh, Jack,
Huh?
do you know where the voice share settings are for PS5?
You have to do it in the actual party. So in the party, in the three dots, go into settings there, and then it'll show share your voice and put it on allow. Yeah, yeah, and then it'll say settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just say settings on the three dots. Oh, I'm on PS5 actually, so it might not say it for you.
No, he's on PS5 as well.
All right, yeah, and on the three dots it'll say share your voice. No, so hover on the. You've gone over the three dots. So you press on it, and then it says add players, mute voice chat, settings, chat transcription, report, view party.
I'm ready.
All right. So, second race win in a row. Pretty similar victory to Portugal. What are your thoughts after that one?
Yeah, it's cool to get a second victory. I was not expecting to do such a lap time in the qualifying 44.4. I was quite shocked. So then in the race, when Major Falcon overtake me, I was happy actually because I didn't want to lead on the whole race because I know the DRS is very powerful. And just when around the pit window, I saw that his flash was flashing for the ERS, and I knew I had a lot more ERS, and I passed him, and then just did it and came out front of him and tried just not to spin.
Well, yeah, you were able to keep it on track, and well, you really propelled yourself up, not into the championship fight, I would guess, but into that top midfield fight. And so, with the break week coming up next week, and then we head to Monza in 2 weeks' time. Are you excited for Monza, or hopefully just looking for another good result?
Yeah, I'm excited for Monza. Last time when Nemo came out, I just did one lap because I saw there were changes to the curbs. I did just the first corner. It was awful. I don't know. I'll have to train. But I like the track. It's very cool.
Yeah, me too. Jack, do you have any questions for our race winner?
For me, it's just mainly about. Do you seem to be finding a bit of confidence now? That's 2 weeks in a row after you've always showed the pace. And we were questioning with the pits and everything as well. Was there any thought of the championship for Maverick, or are you strictly racing for yourself when it comes to positions wise?
I mean, probably sometimes in the race we'll come closer. I guess maybe I'll consider that maybe I will let him pass, or it depends on the situation. I know that I won't be able to fight for the championship. I want just to secure that construction, the team construction. But if there's situations in the race where he's desperate for points and whatever, yeah, I might let him pass.
Spicy. Well, we'll know. I think we need Jordan to be up there now. Then, if we're gonna have a 2v1, we need Jordan up there with Ryan to make this interesting.
Sorry, but yeah, thank you for joining us in the commentators booth for the interview. And congratulations on your second win in a row. And now we can move on to Alt Maverick. Second week in a row, picking up a third place. Last week, obviously, you had that post-race pen after the incident with Jordan, but I don't think this one will be getting taken away. Any thoughts on another podium?
I think it went as well as I'd hoped it would. Obviously, keeping the second place on track would have been a little bit better, but it's a podium, and I think I'm back in the championship lead. So obviously everything, it's getting better. But yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough race, just seeing how much I was struggling in the practice sessions and all that. But to finally, I guess, be in the top 5 in qualifying, I think that helped as well. Just having that better grid position, but yeah, it was a fun race. I knew Spa was going to be tough, but I think I made the best of it.
Yeah, I would definitely say. Obviously, that one penalty right at the beginning kind of ruined your race, or well, I guess ruined your opportunity for second place. But you did have a slight opportunity towards the pit stop phase when you could have passed Major Falcon. What was your, what were you thinking when around the pit stop time when you're trying to get past Major Falcon?
The original strategy that the game put me on was pit lap 7 for hards, and I knew I wasn't going to do that. So when I switched to the softs, it put me on lap 8. But I figured that since I was behind Marty, his default strategy was going to be pit lap 8. So I knew that if I pit, the same time as that wasn't going to work. But I knew that if he did pit on lap 8, then I would have to pit lap 9. And my tires were already gone at that point, so I'm like, there's no way I'm going to stay out another lap and undercut Falcon. So I figured I'll pit on this lap, whatever lap I pit. It was either 7 or 8. I honestly can't remember. And I'll just hope for the best, and I'll try to get past Major Falcon, right out of the pits. And then we kind of got held up by Noah, which I don't think really helped. But I did get past him eventually. Which kind of helped out, and then obviously I was ahead of Falcon a few laps later. But yeah, I don't think it was my best call in the pits, but I knew I had to stop then if I didn't want to have to go an extra 2 laps, knowing that Marty was going to pit that second lap. So I think it was probably the best I could do.
All right, Jack, do you have any questions for our third place finisher?
Overall, I think whether you got second or third, you knew it was going to be a successful race considering what happened to Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found, has being in QVR, obviously it's still quite early, has having some team around you and help you with decisions, did that help you in the race at all to kind of calm down, or did that all go out the window once you were in that situation?
I think so far it's helped me mostly on what's the word? Just driving, really. The final chicane, before I started practicing, I was keeping it in second gear, throughout the whole thing, in the first corner as well, and then through Lake Homs. I mean, my whole gearing was off, and when we were running practice last night, and then obviously this morning, they were telling me what gears I should be in, and I think it helped me because I did drop a couple tenths off of there. So it's improving my driving, it's improving my confidence, and I think the setups too are helping. I'm not getting my setups from a shady YouTube video anymore, which is great. But
did you just swear on stream? That's got to be a position ban. Surely that's got to be a penalty.
I said shady. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I did. Whatever.
Stewards.
You can't do this to me. But I just wish I could change my name. Honestly, that's the only thing that's making me mad so far.
You just got to save up $3 and you'll be all right, mate.
I haven't changed my name since I got my PS4, so it's actually free. It's just annoying that it won't allow me to change it.
He's literally not allowed to change his name to QVR Maverick because of PlayStation.
Says it's unavailable. Or no, it's not allowed.
It's the QVR Alt.
All right. Thank you for joining us in the commentator's booth for this interview, and congratulations on taking the championship lead. Once again, it feels like I say this every week to whoever finishes on the podium. But yeah, decent race from Div 4. A little bit boring towards the end of the race, but overall pretty decent race. We got some good action, especially towards the beginning of the race, and we had a surprise result or two. So, yeah, do you have any final comments, Jack?
I think we've got a week off now, haven't we? So it's going to be interesting to see how people keep that motivation after a week off, see who's practicing and who's not. And Monza, if you think Belgium's going to be crazy, just wait for Monza in those chicanes. I think we're going to see some crazy action going into turn 1 on the first lap.
Well, yeah, that's what typically happens at Monza. So, hopefully, Division 4, I'm sure most people remember what happened last season in Division 4 at Monza. So, hopefully, we can get something like that again. But yeah, that's been it from myself, QVR Packer, and from Ariel Nolan. And I think that's it. So yeah, that's been all.